Hi, you guys. Hi, everybody. How are you? Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I was like, did I remind people enough? Would everybody remember the book club? I'm so glad you guys are here. And you know what, Karen? I could use a nap right about now. It's been one of those days. I've been up since about 1:30, 2 o'clock. Not even Fritz's fault. I got so excited because I'm now a real channel. It's just a whole thing. And I kept thinking, okay, what do I have to do now? What do I have to do now? So I just kept myself awake, but it's getting exciting. My life, that is. Oh, man, I thought I was done with these. Look what I've been doing. I made all of these ice pop cozies. I thought I was done. Of course not. I have one more. Dag nabbit. Well, I'll have to grab another ball of scrap yarn and do that. Dang it. You know, when you get yourself mindset, you're like, oh, I'm done. That's funny. So did I. Hi, Gail. How are you? So glad you guys are here. Oh, my goodness. We'll give everybody a little bit more time to log in and get everything. You guys want to see a video of my grandson while we're waiting? I don't even know if you're ready for this because it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get it full screen for you. You ready? Look at his face. That is my grandson. I can't even take it. I told my daughter, I said, I get it. You don't want people at your house all the time. I said, but I'm going to need at least a photo or a video every week. Oh my God, Margaret, thank you so much. You're my first one ever. Oh, I'm such a dork. I can't even stand it. But Margaret, you are my first one ever. Thank you so much. That's awesome. That's awesome. Gail, you're enjoying the book? I know, Margaret. I'm such a dork. I can't even take it. Gail, how far have you gotten in the book? Did you go ahead? Did you read ahead? The reason I'm asking, did any of you read ahead? And the reason I'm asking is we only have a week left in April. So I would like to try to finish the book by next week. I know that's a tall order considering we're only like on chapter 20, but they're really quick chapters. So what do you guys think about trying to finish the book by next week? Is that crazy? Gail, let me know. I mean, you guys, I have, nothing but time. I'm listening to it while I'm driving. I'm so excited. So Gail, you think that's okay? You think it's an okay idea? Margaret, how far are you in the book? Sorry, I can't remember if you guys told me you watched the movie or if you're in the book or so. Again. Okay, so that's Gail, you're okay with finishing it. Margaret, you've already finished it. Hi, Barb, how are you? Welcome. We were just talking about how far along in the book we all are. I'm trying to get so that we're finished by next week so we can start a new book for May. So what are your thoughts on that, Barb? And Karen, where'd you go? Sorry, I had something. You finished it. Okay, cool. Cool. Dottie finished it. Hi, Dottie. I think we're all pretty much to the point. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's try to finish it by next week. That'll be cool. Most of us have read ahead or have seen the movie or both. I've seen the movie twice and read the book twice, actually. That's awesome. All right, cool. So today we're actually talking through chapters 24. So I did get a few. I'm going to be so I can't really see you guys right now, but I can read this. So let's see if I can find a couple of questions that we haven't talked about before. Discuss the impact of World War II on the characters and their daily lives. Well, that's absolutely everything, right? I mean, right. My book didn't indicate chapters either, Karen. Okay. Yeah, when I look in my library, it says chapter such and such, but when he's reading it, it doesn't say chapter. So, okay, so Max just got to Hans. Okay. So I think we could just kind of discuss how far we've got, and then we'll take it from there. So, I mean, it's all the symbolism, right, of strength, even integrity, because now they're keeping a secret, and she's just a 12-year-old girl, Lisa is, and she can be trusted. You know what I mean? So she can be, even to her best friend Rudy, you know, she won't tell him. So I think it's a lot of lessons in perseverance, strength, integrity, and even love, because Lisa learns to love her step parents and Rudy. So the part that I find kind of cool, right? That secret made her much more made. Yeah. So Gail, can you? I'm not sure I understand that secret made her really. Oh, no, I get it. Okay, yeah, so she bonded much more with her step parents because she had to keep that secret. Yes. And that's good because she needed that, right? She needed to feel part of the family, not just with Papa. She needed to feel that, you know, Mama knew she could be trusted as well. So sorry, I gotta put some lotion on. I've been touching yarn all day. So yeah, that helped her grow as a family unit. And back then, you know, back then family wasn't necessarily blood family. Family was who you were with at all times. And I think, well, you think about nowadays, you know, we think of family as blood family, but family is really like you guys are my family. Friends and family to me is a very intertwined meaning. Yes, she did. Yes. So she got to see that there was a softer side to Rosa. And I think that's when she actually started to soften towards Rosa as well. Absolutely. And then the Max comes on the scene, right? And he's in the basement. And like I said, she doesn't see him as a Jewish person in the basement. She sees him as a human in the basement. So, and then we all know who he is, but she doesn't. She doesn't understand why Papa is opening the house to this man, but she doesn't really seem to care. She just accepts him. So that makes it, that's an even another feather in her top, if you will, feather in her cap as to her personality and how she is as a person. She just sees him as a person. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, Overall, I think the whole lesson of the book, in you know, on my side, I'd like you guys to elaborate how you see it as well. The whole thing to me was we were so used to seeing the other side. I read Anne Frank's diary. I know, you know, I saw a lot of those movies and stuff. And obviously, the abuse and the turmoil and all of that was different on both sides, but they had struggles, put it that way. It wasn't all like they lived like the Burgermeister on the top of the hill. It was, you know, they were eating nasty pea soup every single day, no matter what. And that was it, you know, so they all had to, they were all starving, you know. Obviously, not to the extent that the Jewish people were, but um, I think in my head, it opened my eyes to the fact that there were struggles on both sides. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Uh, were they comparable? I don't know, but there were struggles on both sides. Um, and that I don't know. that helps me realize to say that not all Germans were bad people. It was the government, and it was. Okay, all right. Ruth, we've decided that we think, and please let me know if you can, we've decided we can make it to the end of the book by Wednesday. So we'll have our last meeting on the book Wednesday and then pick a new one, if that'll work. So that'll be one thing. So yeah, it all in all, I think it's a great book about lessons, about learning how to care for somebody no matter what others think. And I can't remember what section of the book this was, but when Max was walking down the street and Liesel, well, not just Max, let me back up. When the Jewish people were walking down the street, and this was more portrayed in the movie than in the book, and she was just touching each one as they walked by, saying, I won't forget you. I won't forget you. I won't forget you. Letting them know that you're still human and that you're not just walking down a street of empty faces, that you will be remembered. You are someone. And that shows a lot of character for her. So I think that's really cool. What do you guys think? And Ruth, I would like to know if you're okay. I know you said you're just listening. I'm sorry. Let me know if you think you can finish the book by then. So yeah, all in all, I think, it's up till now. Have they had the book burning in front of the church yet? In the square? That's a pretty powerful one there. Yeah, they had to have now because Max is in the basement now. But when they had that book burning, yeah, and she knows that the mayor's wife saw her. She knows that the mayor's wife caught her, and now she has to go deliver that washing and stuff there. She doesn't want to because she's afraid of what's going to happen. Right? So she gets up to that door, and the mayor's wife is very coy about it. She doesn't say a word. Yes, exactly. That's what they ran on, Gail. They ran on fear and control. So the more they could scare the masses into conforming to that party, the more. And you know what? Who's to say we wouldn't have acted the exact same way in that situation? If I have to protect my family, I'm going to pretty much do what I have to do, And that's what they were doing. Bow your head, divert your eyes, and just, live your life and get through it, Cool. Perfect, Ruth. That's awesome. I do have a list of some books, so I will put them all on. What I'd like to do, and I know a lot of you have propaganda. Oh, big time. If you think about it, Gail, we have propaganda now. We're getting that now. So it's almost like there's parallels on the book back in that, in World War II and what we're getting now. I mean, it's not on the same level of any means, but we're still getting fed a lot of stuff every day in the media. And whether we choose to believe it or follow it or whatever, we're getting it as well. So you're right. That's a really good point. So getting back to the next book, I would like to have a book that nobody has read. So I know a lot of you have suggested some books, but if you'd like to suggest something that maybe you haven't read, like I said, I have suggestions from you all. If you'd like to suggest something that you haven't read, because then we can really talk about it, and I will only read as far as everybody. I won't read ahead, or it hasn't been a book I've already read. You know what I mean? So Margaret, you absolutely. It's fear. It's terror. Like I said, if I had to follow someone like that to save my family, who knows? Who knows? If it's either go along with what he's saying or your family suffers, hopefully we will never know that fear. Hopefully we'll never know to that extent. So let me just go real quick. Margaret, the Radium Girl, have you read that already? I just want to make sure. And I know I'm jumping around. I'm sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained. And you see, Margaret, I didn't know that. I don't know if it's because I didn't pay attention in history, that well? All right. If you would like to suggest a different book that maybe you haven't read yet, what I'd like to do is look at the top, the bestsellers list and see if we can find one. But anyway, Margaret, I did not know. I didn't know all that stuff about the Japanese immigrants and the Italian Americans, fishermen. That's interesting. And that's why I like books that are sort of like this, that are historical fiction, because they do have to have the facts right, as well as, filling in the story, backfilling in the story. Sorry, I'm super thirsty today. I ate like a chicken cutlet, and there was so much garlic on it. It's killing me. Oh, nice. Okay. So it wasn't just me not paying attention in high school, which, it totally could have been. So, um, yeah, yeah, that is kind of crazy. I mean, I guess the war had people do a lot of crazy things, and hopefully in our time we won't know that, So, Gail, you also mentioned Outlander. Have you read that already? Like I said, I'm trying. Oh no, they didn't teach it, and they're not going to teach it now in high school, Margaret. They're not going to teach that now. They're taking stuff out of history, or not taking it out, but they're ignoring it, Like if you put your head in the sand. Yeah, why they followed Hitler. All right, so and The Great Alone by Karen. Karen, have you read that? So what I'd like to do is clean the slate and maybe try to find some books that none of us. What if I do this? What if I go to like the New York Times top 15 bestsellers, and what if I put them in a hat and pick out the name, and we can start there? Have any of you read like the top bestsellers? Because I think it would be fun for all of us to read a book and get an impression on it for the very first time. That's my thought. What do you guys? Yeah, good idea. Okay. So what I'm going to do after this, not right now, but what I'm going to do is I will go to the New York Times bestseller list. I'll make the list and I'll put it in the community tab, and you guys read over it and just let me know if you've read any of the books, and then we'll take it from there. Amazon's top editor picks. See, great minds. All right. I'll do that. What do you guys think? You think it's a good idea that we can all experience a book for the first time, right? That way we're not looking at a story. Like if we were to watch or listen to Gone Girl, then I'd be like, well, I know what happens, and I want to be able to experience it with you guys at the same time. So I think that would be a fun idea. Okay, cool. All right. I will do that. So I had a synopsis of the chapters that we were reading, and I will recap it for you. Because the discussion questions are pretty much the same that they gave us last. So I'm going to read in chapters 4 through 27. I know we did 14 through 27, but I'll recap it. The story delves deeper into the life of Liesel Meminger, a young girl growing up in Nazi Germany during World War II. Liesel continues to adapt to her new life with her foster parents, Hans and Rosa Huberman, in a small town of Mulching. She forms a close friendship with the neighbor boy, Rudy Steiner, who shares her love of mischief and adventure. Meanwhile, Liesel's foster father, Hans, demonstrates kindness and compassion by teaching her to read and write, sparking her love for books. Do you think that was right? I almost think when she first found that book, that sparked her love of books. What do you think? I almost think her obsession with books started at her brother's funeral when that book dropped to the ground and she picked it up. Although he helped her develop a love for it, I think her spark for books started back then. Maybe it was he sparked her love of reading. Yeah. Hi, Michael. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for stopping in. Maybe you can join our book club for next week. We're going to start a new book after next week. But thank you. I really appreciate you coming in. I got to stop fidgeting my leg. I'm shaking the whole camera. But anyway, let me read on because I agree with you guys. I think her obsession with books, it was almost like that first book she found grounded her to the fact that there's something different, new that she could hold on to, that it's hers, you know what I mean? And she can fit it in her pocket. So it's a little part of the world she could hold on to. And she did it again when she stole that book that was not burnt in that bonfire, although it was still burning her. So that's almost, here we go. I just thought of something. Is that symbolic? So she took that book out of the fire, held it next to her, and it burned her, yet she held it and kept it. And her papa let her keep it. I almost feel like that's symbolic of her whole life. Take something that means a lot to you, and even though it may hurt to hold on to it, you still have to trust that it's good for you and that you're going to get good from it. So I think that, yes, Gail, that was a connection to her brother, and that also grew, you know, as far as her love of other books. And that even extends to the point, if you think about it, the mayor's wife, she held on to that library in memory of her son. So we've got Liesl holding on to a book in memory of her brother, and we've got the mayor's wife holding on to a book, a whole library in memory of her son. So it kind of shows how, you know, books aren't just something to sit on the shelf. They have meaning and they can have like attachment to them. I'm going to run out of seltzer. I'm talking too much. All right, let me read on. Despite the oppressive regime of Nazi Germany, Liesl finds solace in stolen books and begins to understand the power of words and storytelling. And that is also true, her power of words, when she's describing the world outside to Max, who can't see it. As the war intensified, Liesl's world is further disrupted when her foster parents shelter a young Jewish man named Max in their basement. Despite the dangers, Liesl forms a strong bond with Max, who becomes like a brother to her. Throughout these chapters, Liesl experiences loss and grief as the war takes its toll on her community. Yet she finds strength in her friendship and in her love of books. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. I just feel like books are more than books for this. You know what I'm saying? They're a security, they're a symbolism of, you have a block in front of you. She took that book and didn't know how to read, but she took that block and turned it into a passion. So that's kind of how I look at it. And then her friendship with Max, despite the fact that he was a Jewish man, you know. Well, that's all right. We're just going to talk all about it so you don't have to worry about it. We'll tell you all about it. And it doesn't matter if you're late, at least you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. All right, so let me complete the synopsis. So, amidst the backdrop of war and turmoil, Liesl's story unfolds with moments of bravery, resilience, and humanity, showcasing the enduring power of hope and the human spirit in the face of adversity. Through Death's narration, readers are invited to witness Liesl's journey of survival, love, and transformation and transformative power of words in a time of darkness. So I think that's also a really good lesson to show how powerful words can be. Written word, spoken word, even in music. We use books to communicate. I know a lot of times it's a lot easier for me to write something in a note. There's I think Max is about 18 to 20, and Liesl at this point is 14 or 15. So there's a few years between them at that point. But remember back then, 14, 15, they're aging quickly because, the war, and they've got to, yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 years, maybe a couple more, something like that. He wasn't like 20 years older than her, but he was like a brother. He knew she was a kid, and he helped her develop her power of words. She tried to be like, oh yeah, it's rainy out. He goes, no, take what's inside your heart and put it into words. 13, yeah. Yeah, Karen, it's just a great book. And that's why it's so tough for me to go slow. So I started reading over again just so I could have the conversation and talk. Do you guys mind? I'm going to grab another seltzer. It'll take me 2 seconds. Hang on. I'll be right back. There you go. Sorry about that. I had a seltzer and I thought it would be enough. So now I have a seltzer and a water. It was good chicken, but that was a lot of garlic. So yeah, the author is playing with words, and he's actually using the book and the fact that Liesl has to learn to read in order to appreciate the book. I think to symbolize the fact that you have to learn about things you don't know in order to appreciate them. Just like she has to learn about Max in order to appreciate him. She doesn't know anything about him. She doesn't know anything about her foster parents, but she has to learn about them, and then she loves them. So it's a lesson for all of us that you have to learn more about something before you can make a judgment of it. Oh. So that's my take on that. Sorry. I'm going to try not to chew like a cow. But you know how you have too much garlic and you get like that mouth? That's what happened. So I asked it last week, and I'm going to ask it again. After reading so much further ahead, who's your favorite character right now? Boom, Gail. Exactly. Exactly. I did actually find what I thought was a blooper in the audio book. And those of you that are actually reading the book might not do it, but when Liesl first saw the shoulder shrug, Rosa's your favorite, Gail? She's just awesome. Rudy's still my favorite. I think he's just so cute, and he just, no matter what, he'll do anything for her. So Rosa was your favorite last week too, right? So you're still keeping to Rosa as your favorite? Yeah. That's cool. Well, she's tough. She plays a great part. But the blooper that I think, so Liesl reached in. Now that she said, the narrator said, she could only see a quick flash of the color of the cover, but she couldn't make out anything of it. She just knew it wasn't burned. So she grabbed it and stuck it in. Okay. And then like 2 sentences later, he mentions how Liesl, something about The Shoulder Shrug. So well, they didn't even introduce us to what the title of the book was before they started talking about the book as if we knew what it was. I hope I explained that well enough. But like I said, if you're reading the book, you probably didn't get that. So Liesel is your favorite, and Hans, yeah. I think Papa's character, he's so patient with her, and he's so optimistic of how much she can be and how much she can learn. I think that is what makes him a really great character. Because all it takes is like Rosa will be blah, 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 and he'll just look over at Liesel and wink. You know what I mean? So, and she just smiles like, okay, because she knows it's all okay as long as, you know, Papa gives her that wink. So, yeah. So Liesel is now going to the mayor's house quite regularly to read in the library. And it turns out that she finally gets the nerve up to ask. She sees the name written in a book and she asks who it is. And it turns out that it was that woman's son. Yes, Margaret. He does have a great heart, and he does what is required of him, but he doesn't, like, he goes and serves with the military, but he doesn't like jump all in and go gung ho with it, you know. So oh, that's awesome, Gail. That's really awesome. Yeah, my sister adopted 6 children, and it is an amazing thing to watch that develop. No, Barb, he does not. At this point, now if you remember the first time the mayor's wife let her in, Liesel just stood up and said, I gotta go, and left, and then got halfway home and made herself turn around and run back to thank the mayor's wife. But when she knocked on the door, the mayor answered. And she knew enough not to say anything to him about reading books. She just waited until the mayor's wife came to the door behind him. And she's like, I just wanted to say thank you. And the mayor's wife just nodded and closed the door. So he has no idea that she's there. So it is a secret between the mayor's wife and Liesel. And for a while, even Rudy doesn't know. Liesel tells him she's got to do the washing that day alone. Exactly. And I want, my sister is the most incredible mom on the planet, you know, and she couldn't have children, but she adopted children, and those children cherish her, and it is a beautiful thing. So this is also a great lesson in the fact that she came to love her foster parents just as if they were her. Further on in the book, you're going to see that develop. Even with Rosa, you're going to see that relationship with both parents grow to the fact that in her mind, they're not. Yes. Yes, because the mayor's wife needed somebody to take the place. She needed somebody to appreciate those books as much as her son did. And that's why when she saw Liesel steal that book, and then she finally decided, exactly, exactly. So it's another weaved in lesson in this book that family is family. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're cut from the same cord or if you're all combined in a basket and now you're a family, that is your family. And that's, you know, my sister now has 14 grandchildren, you know, so it's just, you're right. It's family is family. But the mayor's wife needed somebody to appreciate those books as much as her son did. Her son was in the military. I believe he died in the military. But Liesel was afraid to ask, what happened to him. And then when she finally did, the woman told her. And when the woman told her, it wasn't like she was looking for sympathy. It was almost like she was trying to grasp her own feelings inside while trying to explain them to Liesel. So you're right. Liesel stepped in and just kind of laid on the floor looking at books while this woman just sat at the desk, just enjoying the books. So it's really, if you think about all the different layers and all the different messages that the author is tucking in there, we're learning so much, like Gail said, don't judge a book by its cover. A family thrown together is still a family. Like Gail said, you don't have to, what did you say? A child really neat. Have you guys gotten to the apple thieves yet? Any of you? I can't remember I think through the chapters we were talking about, because I'd like to talk about them as well. The part where, yeah, so now they're trying to, it's Rudy and Liesel. Okay, so Rudy and Liesel are trying to prove to the older kids that they're as cool as them, and they go, and plus they're hungry. Okay, and plus they're hungry, so they see this kid eating an apple, and they're like, oh, well, we can do this. And not realizing that when you get a bag full of apples, you can't just bring it home, because your parents are going to ask you where you got them, and then you're going to get in trouble for stealing. So they actually had to eat a dozen apples before they ran home. And they paid for it because they both got really sick. But a couple things. They proved their more allegiance to each other because they helped each other over that fence. They figured out how to do that. And they proved to the other boys, that you're not all that. We can keep up with you. So yeah, they ate so many apples they got sick. But you would think, without being gross, when Liesel was getting sick, wouldn't Rosa have known it was apples? But I mean, we're all parents here, so. But I thought of that each time because I've read it twice now and watched the movie. But you know what? They didn't put that in the movie. They didn't put the apple scene in the movie. I just realized that. Huh. That's a fine how do you do right there. Yeah, they didn't put that in the movie. But so there's just so many different topics. And now that I've read it a few times, I'm seeing even deeper. Absolutely. Yep. You're starving. You're going to climb a barbed wire fence and try to steal an apple. Absolutely. Yeah, I just realized that. I'm going over the movie in my head and I'm like, no, they didn't do it. But yeah, the book is always better, right? So trying to think what else didn't I touch on? Let me just see some of their questions, see if there's any, because they seem to be repeating the questions that they did. So one of the questions is, how does Liesel cope with loss and grief throughout the story? I think she copes with it a couple of ways. One, she reads her books. I get that. But two, she just kind of learns to accept the fact that death and adversity and change are all part of life. So nothing is, first of all, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is, So she's learning very young, starting with her mom on the train, her brother passing away. She's learning that death is part of life. I think that is, and she's learning to be stronger from it. I think that's a pretty good way to sum up how she, because everywhere this kid turns, she's adversity, you know. How does an according to the connection symbolize the, oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Discuss the symbolism of the accordion and its connection to Hans Huberman. Now, he learned that accordion from Max's father. And that's why Max found his way to him. Because he, after World War I, Hans Huberman went to return that accordion to Max's mother because that guy saved his life. So that accordion is also assigned to him. Yes. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Probably a lot of young people had to learn. I think, Margaret, I think you're right. They grew up fast and they grew up harsh. And they learned those lessons very quickly. Absolutely. And Gail, yes. It's also not only love and hope, it's also, what's the word I'm looking for? Faithful. He was, he was very beholden to that guy for saving his life. So he was faithful to his memory. And he said to Max's mother, if there is ever anything I can do for you ever, let me know, right? So here's something I thought of. Max was part of a bigger family. So he was in a room with a bunch of the family, and they came in and they said, we can save one of you. And he felt guilty, but he was also faithful. Yes. Yes, to that promise. So there's also a feeling of survival in this book, right? Because Max probably knew he would never see the rest of his family again, because he knew that that person could only save him. And when he left that room, he knew he'd probably never see them again. But he also knew he was being true to his father's memory by surviving. So, and those of you that get towards the end of the book, it all does come full circle. And that's all I'll say about it. But it is a book about faithful, almost karma, right? We could say karma, because had Hans Huberman not kept his promise, Max wouldn't be in that basement. Max wouldn't have made it to the basement. Lisa wouldn't have met Max and learned the true friendship of taking care of someone. Hi, Sugar Diamond. How are you? We are talking about our book, The Book Thief. We're all chatting about it. I don't know if you've read it or not, or seen the movie, but that's what we're talking about. And I think you won the other night on one of the lives I was on, so congratulations. But yeah, so this book, I mean, it's a young adult book, but I think we're getting a lot more of it by digging deeper into it. I mean, if you read the book quick, okay, it's a little girl growing up in Nazi Germany, blah, blah, blah. People die around her. She lives, da, 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 da. But if you really dig into the lessons she's learning and the people around her and what she gets from each one of them, she learns a different lessons from each one of them, if you think about it. You know, she learns from Rosa, you can love somebody and you still have a hard exoskeleton. She learns from Papa, you can still be a strong man, but you can show your softer side. She learns from Max, you can be terrified, but you can still want to survive. And you can, so, I mean, she learns something different, and she just learns faithfulness from Rudy. Rudy is like always there no matter what, you know? So I think the name of the book is The Book Thief, and it's by Markus Zusak. Zusak? Yep. Zusak. So that's the one we're talking about. So we've decided we're going to read it through and finish it for next week. It's really a good book. Like we said, it's a young adult book, so I get it, but the more I look into it and the more I actually listen to what I'm reading, the more I'm learning from it. I'm learning, don't judge a book by its cover, right? So, and it's fun to learn lessons like this. Like I'm used to reading whodunits. I'm used to reading, murder mystery. You think this person did it, they didn't. This other person did it, and da da da, and that's the end of the book. I'm not used to one that's actually got hidden meaning in the lessons it's teaching. So this is kind of cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Got a lot of books to read, but I think one per month. What do you guys think? One a month is a great idea. That way we're not dragging it out too much. We're not talking about the same thing over and over again. I've never run a book club before, so I hope I'm okay with you guys. Yeah. Yeah, I saw you win on Mishi's live just before I fell asleep. I had it on and I was like, I gotta go to sleep. I'll just watch this one more. And then I saw you win and I'm like, okay, I'm done. But yeah. So right. Yeah. So we'll make, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. We'll make it an easier, not a 1,000-page book or something, but I'll go on to the top sellers and I'll make the list and I will post, I'll bring it with me next week. And at the end of next week, we'll pick what book we're going to read, if that's all right with all of you guys. Oh my goodness, talking. So all in all, you guys like the book? Are you enjoying it? I think I'm glad. I know that I picked it, but I didn't know. It was kind of like a spur of the moment thing, and I made the mistake of picking a book I had already read. Good. Yeah, that I never ever win anything. It's so funny. So good, Ruth. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, same, Margaret. Yeah, and if it goes too, we don't get it done in a month. You know what I'm saying? But I think reading this like this, we're not really giving away anything. So if someone hasn't really caught up to where we are yet, um, I think we're okay. And if any of you aren't quite up to where we are, just be like, no, spoiler alert. Don't say it. Don't say a word. Like I said, Karen, excuse me. Sorry, Seltzer. Like I said, it threw me in the beginning that it was death talking. But as you go through the book, it really makes sense. He's seeing things that we wouldn't have seen. He's telling the story from a vantage point that we wouldn't have thought of, right? And I do love the way he talks about how he handles the souls, how he gently picks them up, or how the one pilot that died was in pain and suffering, and he reached in and took him out of it. So, oh, good. Well, Sugar Diamond, if you want, yeah, go ahead and read this book, or cheat and watch the movie. It doesn't matter. And I hope you can join us next week. That'll be fun. But yeah, so I'm glad we're doing this. I really love this. I do. I love this book club. I'm having a blast with it. I'm glad you guys are all liking it. So I'm going to get a list of them all together. And Marcus Zuzak. Yep. That's awesome. Oh boy. Take a break. Anybody got anything? Wow, that was terrible English. Yes. Right, Margaret? And it's his his demeanor, right? Death's demeanor from reading it. He's like, he's not condescending, but he's like, I see humans at their worst and I help them. He's not like the Grim Reaper like we all picture, right? The Grim Reaper, oh, death is here, he's a bad guy. Once you listen to this, it's almost like death is the relief for some, right? They're suffering. He reaches in and takes them and treats them nice. And so it's kind of cool. Once I got over the idea, I'm like, wait a minute. Death is narrating this book, but it's perfect if you ask me. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, so I think for next week, if you guys can, we'll finish it up. And then I will bring a list of, what do you think, 20 books, and I'll put them in a rotator drawing. Oh, yes, he does. And no, Sugar, I have not. BookBud. They offer free and low price books. They email every day with deals, categories. Well, and also your library. So if you have a library card, your library will let you audiobooks as well as regular books. You can take them out for free. So that's another way. You don't have to actually spend the money. I have an annual audiobook um, subscription to Amazon. BookBub, Book Hub. I don't know. I got nothing. But anyway, that's why I use that. But with my library card, I can get all the audiobooks for free as well. So I've had Audible I just renew it every year. And I love it. I can't tell you how many books I have read, listened to. I mean, I say read, right? I'll check that out. BookBud. So is that the right BookBub? All right, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna write it down in my book club book. So Sugar Diamond, we're also BookBub. Okay. All right, I am writing that down. BookBub. All right. See, I learned so much from you guys. So anyway, Margaret, I want to thank you again for that super chat. That was so fun, so exciting. I might snap a screenshot of it because I'm a dork. You just got to know I'm a dork. That's all there is to it. But yeah, so I got up at 2 a.m. because I was so excited to be a real channel. I'm a big girl now. Yay. So, oh my goodness. All right, you guys, it has been about an hour. I love that you're all here with me. What a blast. We have such a good time. Margaret, it's so funny. I'm such a dork. I can't help it. Like I said, this is why I retired. So the fact that I'm actually getting there and doing something, and you guys, you really like me. What was that? They like me. They really like me. But it's fun. I've met so many wonderful people. You guys are awesome. Hopefully, Margaret, I'm waiting for my the first person to join my channel. I'll lose my mind. I'll be running up and down the street, but very exciting. So I will, next week, we're going to finish the book and I will come with the list of all the new books. Yeah, the book club live is from 3 to 4. So we do that every Wednesday. And we'll take it from there. I will have a list of new books. Look at that. We have 9 people on and 13 thummies. Woohoo! The magic thummies. So yes, Sugar Diamond, it will be live on Wednesday. I will go ahead and already schedule it. So we'll have it on our calendars. Do you guys get notified? Do you see that it's up there and waiting? Because I hope so. I'm not sure. But anyway, I don't know all the rules. Okay, good. Good. So I put it up there and schedule it just like I schedule my live Saturday and Sunday coffee with Kim. You guys should see what I'm going through with these cameras. I can't even. Oh, good. All right. Yeah. You can crochet along while, while we're chatting about the book too. So Sugar Diamond and Dottie, you haven't written much, so I'm sorry, I forgot you were here. We're going to go ahead and finish the book for Wednesday, and I will come with a list of the top, I'll do 25. I'll do the top 25 books. We'll put them in a random drawing, and we'll pick out our book for May. How's that sound? Um, huh. Well, we'll have to see about that. All right, cool. I think that's it. I think that's it. So have a great week. And I know. Oh, the new rose tomorrow. That's cool. I haven't started that shawl yet. I've got so much going with that flea market that I'm in that I just can't start a new project. So, do you guys, what do you think of this behind me? How funny is that? It was just hanging there. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to buy that. It was so cute, right? I just think it's adorable. But yeah, it is a lot of fun to do Bag a Day. Yeah. I'm glad to see she's still posting. I'm glad to see she's still putting up videos. She didn't take a break. She might have already had them scheduled. Oh, jeez. No way. So you're actually doing it twice? Yeah, good. She is back. Good. Um, they can't keep her down. She's the best. So, okay, you guys, I'm going to give you 3 minutes back of your day. So I will see you with Coffee with Kim tomorrow. Remember, we are now an official channel, so we can have members. If you want to join, somewhere on your page, there should be a join button, so you can click that if you want to join and be a member. Be my first one. That'd be fun. All right, you guys, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for an hour and enjoy your book. Have a great day, guys. I will see you. Bye, guys.